The foundation of disaster: 5 structural design mistakes to avoid. Take a look at this building. Impressive, right? It's a testament to architectural ingenuity, but behind this beauty lies a critical element we don't often see. Structural design. It's the backbone of any structure, ensuring it can withstand the test of time and the forces of nature. Without a solid foundation, even the most stunning designs are doomed to fail. We've all seen the headlines: bridge collapses under weight, building crumbles in earthquake. These disasters aren't just about material failure. They're about mistakes, oversights, and a lack of respect for the fundamentals of structural design. The consequences: cost overruns that'll make your head spin, delays that'll put you years behind schedule, and worst of all, safety risks that can put lives in jeopardy. So whether you're a homeowner planning an addition, an architect drafting your next masterpiece, or just someone who appreciates a well-built structure, this video is for you. We're diving deep into the 5 most common structural design mistakes, and more importantly, how to avoid them. Let's get started. All right, number 1, let's talk load calculations. This is where the rubber meets the road, folks. Every structure, from a garden shed to a skyscraper, has to carry weight. The weight of its own materials, the people and furniture inside, even the snow on the roof. That's what we call load. There are live loads, like people moving around, dead loads, which is the weight of the structure itself, and dynamic loads, like wind or earthquakes. You don't factor these loads in properly, you're asking for trouble. Imagine a roof collapsing under a heavy snowfall. It's not that the roof wasn't built well, it's that it wasn't designed to handle that much weight. I've seen this happen firsthand, and let me tell you, it's not pretty. The worst part? It's completely preventable with proper load calculations. And don't even get me started on soil conditions. You need to know what you're building on. Is the ground stable? Is it prone to shifting or settling? That's where a good site survey comes in. It's like checking the foundation before you buy a house. You wouldn't skip that, would you? Listen, gravity is relentless. You can't cheat it. Proper load calculations are non-negotiable. Hire a qualified structural engineer who knows their stuff. They'll do the calculations, consider all the factors, and make sure your structure can handle anything Mother Nature throws at it. Trust me, it's an investment you won't regret. Number 2, we've got building codes for a reason, folks. These aren't just arbitrary rules dreamed up by bureaucrats. They're born from years of experience, research, and, sadly, sometimes failures. They represent the minimum requirements for safety and functionality. And trust me, you don't want to be anywhere near the minimum when it comes to structural integrity. We're talking about things like fire resistance, earthquake resistance, wind load capacity, all those things that keep a building standing strong even when disaster strikes. Ignoring these codes is like playing Russian roulette with people's lives. And let me tell you, the consequences of cutting corners can be dire. I've seen buildings condemned because they didn't meet code. I've seen homeowners hit with massive fines and lawsuits because they thought they could bypass the rules. It's not worth the risk. When you're dealing with structural design, you play by the book, period. Now, I know what you're thinking. Building codes, aren't those boring? Maybe a little, but they're also constantly evolving. New materials, new techniques, new understanding of structural behavior, it all gets factored in. That's why it's crucial to work with professionals who are up to date on the latest codes and regulations. Number 3, the human factor, clear communication, solid foundation. You know, it's easy to get caught up in the technical aspects of structural design, the calculations, the materials, the codes, but we can't forget about the most unpredictable factor of all: people. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Communication is key. Think about it. You've got architects with their grand visions, engineers crunching numbers, contractors on site trying to make it all happen. If these teams aren't on the same page, if the drawings aren't clear, if someone misinterprets a specification, you're headed for a world of hurt. I've seen walls built in the wrong place, beams installed upside down, foundations poured in the wrong spot, all because of miscommunication. And let me tell you, fixing these mistakes is not cheap or easy. It can add months to your project and blow your budget sky high. That's why I'm a big believer in detailed drawings, comprehensive specifications, and regular site meetings. Get everyone in a room: the architects, the engineers, the contractors, even the subcontractors, and make sure everyone understands the plan. And don't be afraid to ask questions. The more communication, the better. Lastly, number 5, Material matters, the price of cutting corners. Let's talk about materials, folks. The strength and durability of your structure depend not only on the design, but also on the quality of the materials used to build it. Think of it like baking a cake. You can have the best recipe in the world, but if you use spoiled milk and stale flour, it's not going to turn out so well, is it? Now, I'm not saying you need to use the most expensive materials for every project, but I am saying you need to be smart. Cutting corners on materials might save you a few bucks up front, but trust me, it'll cost you big time in the long run. We're talking about premature deterioration, structural instability, even catastrophic failures. I've seen concrete crack because the wrong mix was used. I've seen steel beams rust because they weren't properly treated. I've even seen entire structures crumble because of substandard materials. It's heartbreaking, and it's completely avoidable. That's why material testing is so important. It's like getting a blood test. It gives you a snapshot of what's going on inside. Make sure the materials you're using meet the required standards. And don't just test once at the beginning of the project. Implement a rigorous quality control program throughout the entire construction process. It's about accountability, folks. Building for tomorrow. Adaptability is key. We live in a constantly changing world. Families grow, businesses expand, and our needs evolve. That's why it's crucial to think ahead when designing a structure. Don't just build for today, build for tomorrow. I can't tell you how many times I've seen homeowners stuck with a house that no longer meets their needs. They need more space, they want to add a bathroom, they're dreaming of a home office, but their house just can't accommodate it. And you know what? It's often because the original design lacked flexibility. The same goes for commercial buildings. Businesses grow, technologies change, and suddenly that once perfect office space feels cramped and outdated. That's why it's so important to incorporate adaptability into the structural design from the very beginning. Now, I'm not saying you need to build a skyscraper when all you need is a bungalow, but there are smart design choices you can make that will give you options down the road. Think about things like open floor plans, easily removable walls, and even the placement of load-bearing walls. Building with confidence, your takeaway. So there you have it, folks. 5 common structural design mistakes that can turn your dream project into a nightmare. Remember, it all starts with accurate load calculations, respecting those building codes, clear communication between all parties, using high-quality materials, and planning for future adaptations. Now, I know this might seem like a lot to take in, but trust me, a little knowledge goes a long way. Do your research, ask questions, and don't be afraid to consult with qualified professionals. Remember, a well-designed and properly constructed structure is an investment in your safety, your peace of mind, and the longevity of your investment. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay safe and build smart.